Hey, what's going on, guys? KillerMiller here, and today I'm bringing you guys another professional player VOD review. Today we're going to be doing Skadoodle, or the man himself, Ska. I asked my Discord, everybody wanted. There's actually a lot of different votes, but I figured this was one of the more higher up ones, and it's also one that I would be down to look over because, as you know, Skadoodle, or if you don't know, Skadoodle is an opper, specifically from Counter-Strike, still in this game. And opping is very powerful in today's meta, so I figured, hey, why not? Let's give him a shot. Let's see what happens. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. I haven't watched a single clip of this video, so I don't know what's about to happen. And yeah, that's go ahead and jump into it. The nice thing actually is that he has it edited already, which is why it's a 26-minute, only 20 minutes worth of gameplay, even though it's actually probably like a 40-minute game. Excuse me. And so because of that, the skipping will hopefully be less. I have to jump through these rounds, but we'll see. But at the same time, I don't want to miss any valuable info. So, all right, let's get going. Starting. Oh boy. Okay, hold on. Let's back it up a second. Oh, I hate his map cover. I didn't even really think about that. That's okay. So the thing is, at the very start of the round, we don't actually know how they're playing this because I can't see. But if I had to guess, they would probably be playing 3B, 2A. That is kind of the standard nowadays. And the reason that happens is because it's a lot easier to retake the A site. So, yeah, you're going to want to put more of your players towards B. Plus, on a pistol round specifically, it's very popular to go here because of how B site is typically held down a lot by utility. And there's obviously less utility on a pistol round. But as you know, you can see how he opted to go for wall and double slow, where typically pistol rounds are going to be either Ghost or Armor Classic. That's typically the go-to. But he opted for neither because he understands the fact that, yo, I can actually slow them down quite a bit here. Now, that's why this peak is extremely bad. Because, first of all, he sees this is here. Unless this is his teammate. Actually, it probably is his teammate. Okay, that's his teammate. He has no idea what's going on. So he either needs to hold this angle, be confident with it, or just shoulder peek and instead of wide swing. Because when he wide swings here, now obviously he got a little unlucky because of the fact that, I mean, he swung and then, you know, he's just shoulder peeking it, just obviously too deep. And then all of a sudden everybody's there. And it's like, oh, shoot. Kind of unlucky, yes, I agree. But at the end of the day, the idea still stands. So he could either hold a pixel angle, where he literally has just enough time to spot them and then he can run away, or he could shoulder peek a little tighter and a little bit either quicker or slower. Because if you're staying tight, it's not going to really matter too much. So yeah, this is a very bad death because of the fact that we know how easy it is for him to take B. And so, like we said, he opted to buy all that extra utility and he can't even use it. So he should not be the one that's peeking this angle, if anything. If anything, it should be somebody else. Now, I believe this is just solo queues, so this is another kind of an example. You're just kind of playing, like you're not thinking too hard about it. You're playing the game, having a good time. Obviously, you're trying. Don't get me wrong, but still, so it's not quite as a professional. At a professional level, of course, because of the fact that it's solo queue, and so because of that, he's probably playing just more relaxed, and that's okay. But still, this is still a very 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 bad death, and you can see why. Once again, unlucky, but it is what it is. So now they're coming B with very very little utility. The enemies are. We'll see what happens here. He's dead. I'm going to skip through this a lot. I don't really care what happens. Okay, so they end up winning the round, but in theory, you shouldn't. In a professional level, that round would have been over, more than likely. Obviously, things happen. You have better players, which is what is going on here. This is the entire T1 team playing in solo queue. So, of course, they're just going to be better than the other teams. Plus, some of them are unranked. They're not quite at the top rank yet. You know, that sort of a thing. So, they are playing against overall much less skilled. Well, maybe not much, but definitely a good bit less skilled players. So, that's kind of what we're dealing with. So, and we'll go ahead and get to the second round. They skipped the eco, or the second round because it was a free win, I'm assuming. Notice this is a good peek right here by AZK is doing. This is good. This is what he almost should have been doing on pistol. You don't really need to because they might be scared of an op, which I'm assuming is why he's doing this. Because what he's doing here is getting info, but making the time where he can actually get shot very, very slim. And so that's what happened there. So, anyways, just wanted to touch on that. Oh, he flashed. Okay. So good coordination. Let's just keep watching, I think we just keep around. Gets flashed instantly walls, not bad. Depends on what his goal is here. If he wants to actually just completely shut them out, he should wall the other way. because that ends up getting a teammate killed. But obviously, if they were trying to go for these trade frags, that sort of a thing, better. Now that is in the way the round is playing out, that trade is good. But typically that's bad because of the fact that obviously, like I said, his whole team's basically rotated, so it's fine. But in theory, you don't want to trade with enemies like that, at least, because what's going to happen is you're going to have 2 or 3 players watching a site, and if every kill gets traded, the attackers will always win out. They will always have it eventually because they're going to be pushing as 5 more than likely, or at least 4 the lurk. So they will always have that advantage if trades keep happening. But like I said, they're already down a man, so the trade's actually good here. But anyways, we'll keep on moving. We'll keep going through the gameplay. So like I said, back to the we can jump back to the wall a little bit. No, we don't really need to. I kind of touched on it. Like basically, this wall is fine if that's their plan, which I would like to assume that's the case because they're good players. But if not, that was kind of bad because, like I said, it did result in getting his teammate killed, and also because of the time that they have left, it would be fine to completely delay like that because we have these agents like Cypher, very somebody to slow down quite a bit. Sage, Breach, we have a lot of agents that are just really good at slowing down the game, or not even slowing down the game, slowing down the round, and they also have the Sova rotating, so he can always pop an arrow. So if they use their util really well, it would be like 20 seconds left. Pop a Sova arrow. If they're not there, they only have 20 seconds. So they could probably go to the other site. That'll usually create these good rotations. All this good stuff. So there's lots going into it, but that's not we're just really here to watch him play the game. But I kind of want to make sure I give some background for some stuff. This angle, this little play right here, isn't bad because he's trying to catch somebody off guard. But the reason he did catch this guy off guard, but he also just swung perfectly with the wall, so it was a weird little timing. So I kind of like that play because, like I said, they're in a good position here. So he can go for something like that, and because of the way the round is playing out with the time left, all that good stuff, that's not too bad. Typically, I would say avoid that because going for plays when you have an advantage is really not what you need to do, or it's not what you don't need to do that. But like I said, it's not always a bad idea, and in this round, I think it's okay. But still something to note. So as we can see here, their time is dwindling. I think they're saving, or they're going to explode, and seconds left. Not a good idea. Why this is? Yeah, that's fine. Hope that looks. Apologies. Anyways, they ended up like not saving. I don't know what the enemy. That's very stupid of them to do that, but regardless, when easy kills, they're probably on an eco this next round, or a very light buy, or a bad force. So they have a big advantage. All right, so now we're finally getting into what we should be here for, is the opping. Skadoodle's opping is obviously very good. He was an opper in Counter-Strike, as I touched on earlier. What he still does in this game, etc. Plus, the op is a very good spot. So first off, playing this angle. This is a really good angle. Make sure you crouch if you hold this, because people will very commonly pre-aim this, especially at higher levels of play, because it's very common to hold. So great angle with the op, especially as a Sage, because the only issue is with holding this angle. Well, I guess I can talk about why it's good first. It's good because it can kind of catch the enemy off guard, and they don't really have a lot of space here to make decisions. And if you look at their comp, they don't really have anything good to push Skadoodle out with. Now, they do, of course. The only thing they could really push him out with is not going to kill him. It's not like they have a raise that's going to screw him up with a nade. It's not like they have a brimstone molly, any of that. The only stuff they have is flashes. That's the only thing they can actually effectively push him out of this position with. And because of that, because especially Omen's flash is so good, he loses this upwards position, which he's already taken. And that's good. They get an Omen flash, which is, like I said, very powerful, and they lose a position that way they already might not have even been in the first place. Now, obviously, because he has an op, it's very common. I don't want to talk about too much of that. That's way too much. But I'm just wanting to give some background as to why I think this is great. This is a good angle. And just to put it basic, like, if he misses a shot, he runs away, doesn't die. That's why I was touching on the fact they don't have anything to really. So that's what happens here. We'll see. He holds the angle, being confident, misses a shot, no big deal. He slows because he's Sage. They can't just run at him. That was another thing I wanted to point out. If they were all there and they just flew up at him, he has a slow, so they can't just run up and actually get him while he's like jumping out of the window. Now, keep in mind the way they actually played this. This is great, something you can do in your solo queue games. Anybody watching this, notice how they have the AZK, or just the Breach, whoever this would be, his teammate here, positioned in a spot where once he misses his shot, it can actually get that refrag effectively. So he misses the shot, which is fine. Now the Cypher, in the back of his mind, he's probably thinking hookah's open / he's not there, whatever the case may be, probably gets caught off guard by AZK here. And it's very easy to tell because you still saw the Cypher shooting this way. So this is something you can do in your solo queue games. Literally look at your minimap, which unfortunately is blocked. See what your teammates are doing and just play around it. Be like, okay, he's holding this off angle with an op. Maybe I'm going to hold back, and when they swing and he either hits the shot or misses, I can go for an easy kill. Something like that. This is obviously, well, not really hypothetical because it's what's going on the screen. But, you know, that's just the idea, right? Okay, anyways. Around. I don't know why this is so slow. A terrible peek by their Sage. Very obvious as to why. They probably assumed that he had left, but you're dry peeking a potential opper. We know there's an op on B. We know they have hookah control still. That's very bad by her. So once again, I don't even know what they're doing. Are they on pistols? That's probably why. Yeah, that's a no. Are they? I guess I can't really see. I think they are. I'm almost positive. Wait, I think I can see. Yeah, they're on pistols. That was a sheriff, right? Yeah, it's a sheriff. Okay. I mean, but still, the idea still stands. Like on an eco round, you shouldn't be trying to pick off an opper anyway. You should do that regardless, especially not with pistols. But that gives a little more background as to why they're being really stupid. But still, and Skadoodle capitalizes on this. They're gonna peek me. I'm gonna shoot them. Very simple. No big deal. Nothing really particular with positioning. Now, obviously, I went into it a little bit as far as like why he's there, how he can get out if they were to bomb rush him, all that good stuff with the teammates. So I definitely touched on that. But the idea still stands. All right. Once again. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see how he got here. I would like to. I'm very, very curious if they breach stunned this, because whenever you cross from Garden, this is obviously B site bind. If you cross from Garden over to here, I'm almost 100% sure they actually have priority on you. They can, if they're running fast enough, they can see you cross. So they would be able to know he's there. Obviously, they already knew he had an op from last round, so that would change up the game. So I would like to hope that they either stunned it, flashed it, did something to get him through here, but whatever. We didn't see it, so it's not that big of a deal. They did stun it, as we can tell, because Breach just used his. Went for the res. I'm assuming there's a big call out, like, yo, they're all A. Sounds like. Which is exactly why he peeked out. Now, typically in a spot like this, you might want to be, he would definitely need to be careful going for this. Obviously, like I just said, they more than likely just got the call out. They're all A, which is why he took a teleporter with an op. But even if, depending on how the game has been played out, depending on if, especially in like professional play where you can watch the enemy, you should be able to tell they might have a lurk here, because that might be something that you need to think about when you go for an orb like this. Because it's solo queue, because they have the call out, he can safely get it. But that was just something I kind of wanted to touch on. So that would be kind of, you would be able to think about that, of course. Anyways, we're gonna skip through. So down a spot. Let's see. He's holding angles right now. Nothing crazy. So he definitely needs to walk here. They have 4 players alive. The only one is that we know some are on site, but we definitely know that there's some probably not on site because of, and that's kind of lucky. But still good for him to capitalize on it. Just clearing the angles slowly with his op. Notices are holding it. No, let's just pop it. Very simple. Nothing crazy there. This is what I'm curious. Okay, let's see what happens with it. All right. Like I said, I can't see the map, so I don't actually know where people were. So this has potential to be a decent play, but I honestly think because of a retake scenario, because of the fact that you don't have a rifle, you have an op, this is not the greatest because you can't, like, it's very hard to gamble where they're gonna be. Unless they do know, which is, like I said, possible. I just can't see the map for the 8th time. Then this is fine. This is okay. But I think it's better to just honestly post up, dry peek. Or is it bomb?
Maybe both.
Yeah, they have plenty of time. The bomb hasn't been speaking long. I heard them say maybe both, so I'm assuming that they know. So I'm assuming that they think that they're both in hookah, which is probably why he gets caught off guard here by that, wherever this player is. But the idea still kind of stands, right? I don't think this is super necessary. Now, it wasn't bad because they also are up, they were up 4-0. They have a lot of money. And it's like $400 is very expensive. But yeah, I'm just trying to bring up light as to why I think this is okay. It's definitely, at the end of the day, it's not a bad option, but it's just, it's just okay. I think you would have just been safer just to swing with your op, honestly. time a breach flash maybe if he even had it, blah blah blah. Unfortunately, because of the way this is being what's going on, I just don't have all the information. But that's okay. We're going off what we can. We'll keep it muted a little bit. Might as well. Posting up here.
I'm pushing showers.
Actually, okay, all right, hold on. This is very, very risky. Now the reason he does this is because first and foremost, most obvious thing is he's very confident in his shot. Because typically, once you get put in this position, your back garden manages to get out. Jet's probably gonna push up with the smoke, but like I said, he's confident in his shot, so he's gonna go take it. But theoretically, this is really bad because we don't actually know where she is. She could have walked past her smoke there, which is what she did actually. She could have played around it, right? Like there's so much, there's way too many variables right here to be concerned. If she waits back here on the smoke, he's dead here, of course. But because of the fact that he was confident in the shot, he did go for it. So overall, that was okay. I'm not gonna sit here and say he should play perfectly fundamentally. Once you get to the professional level, you can start to break fundamentals a little bit and go for quote unquote plays like this and many other examples that I've probably seen in pro play, which, you know, that sort of thing. But I want to kind of bring the fundamental aspect to this where it's very risky. But at the end of the day, he trusted his shot, he trusted himself. He had info that he knew there was probably only one there. Another really important factor, because they heard X amount of people rushing A. They know this person's here, there. Like, they have info, right? So he's very confident there's probably only one, maybe even two there. So he just keeps on there. If there was multiple, he would have backed off. But anyways, let's keep watching. Happened. Let's talk about rotation. So once they res is when he backs up, because right now, well, let's back up 5 more seconds. Just trying to avoid it. So right now they know Cypher's on that side of the map, and they know Sage is on that side of the map because, well, they don't know where Sage is, but they know Cypher's there, right? Which is why he's staying here. Sage could potentially be at this part, and they know she has res, which is probably why he's still holding this. She could come res there. Don't know if that's what's going through her head. There's no way to know, but that's probably what he's thinking here. Like, we don't know if there be. Sage has a res. There's a dead player here. I'm gonna hold this angle, so if she comes to try and res it, I can maybe get a free kill. Now, he reses over the Cypher, the Omen, which is dead at A, as we know from previous calls. So he should rotate a little bit quicker from that, because he should instantly be able to pick up the fact that they're going to be there. So overall, good rotate, good thoughts, sort of a thing. But I just wanted to kind of give light as to probably what was going through his head, or at least what should be going through it, what should be thought about here. All right, anyways, we'll finish the round out.
No, you all.
Okay.
Go again, bro. No, you all.
Yeah, they just kind of gotta go for stuff here, which is why he ults. Should Skadoodle have been out there a little earlier? It's hard to say because with the op, you can't just run at him. You had to kind of go for good little plays. Goes for the res here, hopes to bait. I'm a shot. Very bad peek with Yeoman. But I guess he wasn't really ready for that angle. I guarantee he just walls him here. Jeez. Terrible peek by her as well. Tries to catch him off guard, which is, well, okay, here's the thing. It's not necessarily the worst peek in the game. But at the end of the day, if you're playing Cubby, unless you're afraid of them spamming you, which you might be, there's no need to swing this. They have to push in through your crosshair once they cross like this like front board, right? They have to come to you. And if the Cypher's playing middle, which they get info with his, yep. You just sit there, you wait. There's no, you know, what do you like? Why peek that? Like I said, I respect the fact she's going for a play, but she knows they're both here. What does she know? Actually, let's see. Yes, no Skadoodle's here. He just knifed the wall and sort of slow. He just ulted. Well, I guess he is towards U-Haul. So, okay, well, at the end of the day, the peek's not as bad as I thought it was, but it's still bad. He has to peek into you here. Now, she was trying, the end-all be-all is that she was definitely trying to time it with Cypher ulti, which, I guess looking at it now, that's kind of good, but I still think the idea stands where, like, Cypher just ulted you U-Haul. This guy has an op. He can't just be here. This is a great example of where she could still sit here even though they know she like the enemy. Well, in this case, Skadoodle and whoever Cypher is know that the Sage is here, but she could just still wait because that's the point where their Cypher can play the mid spot, like wherever he is, and swing according to the contact that happens, and then they can go for a trade. And now he's in a 1v1 with the bomb planted. So looking back, it's not a bad peak. I was incorrect about that, but still, the point is, I'm trying to give some back. I still think it would, no matter what, be better to sit back in that spot.
No, I knew he'd peek. I knew he'd peek.
We don't care.
You got it. You got it. I don't know. You can hit TP maybe.
Around, fortunately,
I knew.
all good. So yeah, like I said, looking back, it's actually not a bad peak because of the Cypher what I didn't take into consideration. But still, the idea. I just wanted to bring it out to light what I mean by that sort of a thing. Skadoodle played that well. Once he ulted, he posted up. I mean, with an op, it's kind of hard to retake. You just gotta kind of hope they swing, and that was a good way to force a swing. But like I said, knowing he has an op, you don't really need to swing that. But anyways, we're done with the round. Next, on to the next. Mainly talking about Skadoodle here, not the end.
You know,
I go ahead this round. It goes
It's a B rush. Like I said, he could have died there. Actually, that was. He should not have walked. He should have instantly ran because those like 3 bullets he got off, he would have made that time up if he instantly ran here. Start running now because he walked for a few seconds. Yeah, I think he would have been. He could have died from. Unless that was his teammate shooting. I don't think it was. Anyways, okay. We'll see. Let's go back. He's just really in a bad spot. It just is what it is. Should he play something different here? It's hard to say because at the end of the day, playing on an eco, you kind of want to take the close range fights because you lose long range. So, honestly, if they're planning on rotating fast, he should just play info and then just use flows to his advantage. Slow them down. Oh, excuse me. Slow them down from actually just pushing his team in general. Maybe shoulder peek long, get the intro that they're there, instantly wall. There's a lot of things you could do, but I'm not going to be too picky on this round. It is a save. There's so many things that could happen. He could have got the kill on the random, like whatever. Like it's just the way that the game is played. Once again, a lot of the thing I'm trying to do in this is mainly talk about high elo gameplay. That's the big part of it. Obviously, I want to talk about Skadoodle. That's why we're here. But mainly high elo as a whole. That's the big thing. All right, cool. I think we actually missed a round, didn't we? We missed a few. He skipped 2 rounds. That's okay. So they're skipping a few rounds, which is gonna make this auto be a little bit shorter, but that's. All right, this is interesting. This is smart by Skadoodle here. I'll talk about it. So they get the info that they're here, right? Or they see where the enemy is. So in his brand, he's like, I could come here and just go for the picks, right? But he's thinking ahead. They might take teleporter because they know AZK is here because he shot. They know that the Sage is here, not the Sage, the Cypher because Cypher's been playing A. And so he. Wait, did he hear the rotate? Did he? Sorry, I'm trying to forget. He actually goes. Okay, he heard the first teleport and he goes up that. So that might be actually my bad there. But I can kind of tell he was a little. He almost seemed like guessy about that. He paused like a second before they actually took TP. You can kind of. I'll play it and slow it down. Uh-oh. It looks like at least he pauses like just before the teleporter sound goes off, so he's already thinking maybe I should rotate because they might TP. Yes, okay, it's very, very slight, but he did pause like right before the fact that they did TP, and I think that's very important to actually point out because, like I said, in the back of his head, he probably was thinking they can actually TP here. Let me back up. So, anyways, just something to think about. Yep, and he just standard peeks the angle. You can argue that he should shoulder peek here, but I think with the op, it's fine. So the only thing I want to say he did wrong here was his crosshair placement. He should not be aiming through the wall here because we don't actually know what's going on, right? We don't know what they're doing. We don't know if the Sage is jumping out of the window. We don't know if she's playing the right side of hookah, like right here. We don't know if she's in the middle. Like, we don't know what is actually she's trying to do. We know she's trying to get on the side, of course, but we don't know, like, what she's doing. She could be sitting back waiting for them. Now, it's unlikely, which is why he just swings it here, but it's still good that he should keep his crosshair on the outside of the wall instead of pre-aim through the wall. Because of the fact that we don't actually know exactly where she is, to go for a slightly slower peek instead of pre-aiming through the wall. Because if she had been playing like right here, he would be ready for that. He could actually shoot. Now, of course, he was just going to react in general, which is why he just flicks. Like, whatever. He's, like I said, a lot of this comes with confidence. Because and that's why he just kind of wide swings it. And it's also solo queue, so there's a lot to think about. But still, the idea stands. Once again, bringing light to potential high-level decisions, potential things that could be adjusted. Because at the pro level, when he's playing in actual pro games, this might be stuff that actually affects the round. Once again, solo queue, not as big of a deal. Still a factor. Okay, what's
Good. We haven't been up in A, so it's good.
they move him over to A, it looks like. Assuming that's because of the way that the enemies have been playing the game.
Right inside. You got this,
So what I mean by that is the way they've been pushing sites, the way they've been playing defaults. They probably assume that it's safer to do this. Round's kind of weird to pick apart because I don't actually know what's going on.
More CT, careful.
So now they have full. They know that Jet and Omen are on site ish. They're not behind him at least. They heard Jet dash on site. They know Omen planted the bomb. He knows they're both on site. God, okay, this. Yeah, this is bad. Okay, let's talk about it. So let's break it down. He knows that they're both on site. The reason I say that is because Omen, the bomb has just been planted. He heard it on site. Jet just dashed. He knows this, right? So jumping out here, he had no info of the Omen. He just knows that he's over here somewhere, right? So this is terrible. He could have instantly died right here. If the Omen was good and he was like maybe shouldering this angle or just even holding hookah, instead of just hiding, he would have gotten the info and then he could have easily killed him. And then obviously he does slick here. If this is a professional player, a different pro, that's not a random solo queue Omen, Skadoodle's 1,000,000% dead here. Would he do this in a pro game? No. But still, the idea is, my point is, I want to make sure and like erase all bad habits completely, and that's what's going on here. So this is a very bad jump out of the window. He had no info, or he didn't have the right info. What Skadoodle should have done here, either expect this, go for the actual solo queue prediction, and expect them to just re-peek into him because that's what players do in solo queue, or actually peek this angle from inside hookah instead of jumping out the window. So he should be dead now. Omen should have killed him, but he doesn't. Good shot by him. He did get it. He was expecting him there, just not sure when. And then the Jets raise him down and he gets killed. So bad peek, definitely not good there. But wanted to talk about what he probably thought and how he was thinking about it. Back it up.
Stunning sight.
So Brax kills Jet, who I think is B, because I heard the shots over there. They call Omen long. He's ready for that. So Docs, once again, this is solo queue play. Jet should never go out on the site first because of the way he's buying. He's buying wall and slow. So even though he's solo queuing and he's not carrying as much, this is still bad because these two, all this util he has could net him a free round. So he should definitely not do this. But there is partially a reason for why, and like I said, it's solo queue. So now the actual peak itself is not too bad because they killed the Jet. He's getting the call that he's long, so he's going to try and catch him off guard, which is actually exactly what happens. The Omen's trying to get out of there as quick as he can't do it in time, whatever. So theoretically, it's not. It's the jump out is good actually, but because he's Sage, it is bad. Because if the Omen was, instead of trying to make a play, just went for the shot and killed him and then got traded, that's bad because now they're down a very, very useful post-plant agent. Actually, probably the most useful post-plant.
I'll help you, Austin.
They get bombed down. Yeah, they got the call. There's 3 hookah.
Yep. I'm hiding.
You heard the call. If not, I'm calling it for you.
Just watch long, just careful long, bro.
Yeah, I have a choke right now.
Right there.
Good. This is how you're supposed to play these rounds. Just literally play info. He's shouldering in a point where he can't really die. He could have potentially died here. He was sprinting out here.
Choke, okay.
Well, actually, let's look.
Okay.
Okay, never mind. He was behind this. Like shoot that pretty fast or
Not out,
spray it,
not
I
out,
guess.
not out, not out.
Free peek, not too bad. It's a little scary because they already know he's there, so he should actually shoulder peek that a little bit tighter.
They're all
But
there.
overall, not a bad. It's not
Stunning.
bad. The idea is there.
I stunned them.
There's a very obvious thing you should be doing here, walling, but
Okay.
they're just once again going back to the solo queue. They're just confident.
Where's this guy?
Like, dude, screw it. I'm just
Maybe flank?
whatever. Cool. That's that round. If anything, like I said, he should definitely just wall there, but didn't. And regardless, 'cause he's bad. So. Game. I don't know why this is taking so long. Every time I record, it does it. Like I'm literally recording. Like I don't understand. What? Excuse me? It's loaded, bro.
That's true.
This is a good slow here. This is to actually prevent them from pushing over safely.
Right side.
And or it catches them out. So that's kind of what I don't know if this is actually on purpose. I don't know if Brax. Well, let's just say Cypher. I don't know if Cypher was thinking about the fact that, or if it was calm beforehand that he's gonna slow, and if he's mid cross, I'll be able to get a free kill. Or he was probably
Right
just
side.
go. He's
Yeah,
calm.
on top.
On right side.
But the slow is actually okay. If he gets control of that long angle, which he does.
In the
I
pocket.
can stun close right. I'm stunning close right.
Now the fact that they're going towards A makes it a little bit less beneficial, but at the same time it pulls pressure towards that side of the map because it's an eco. It's not quite as beneficial as I said because they're just rushing A, so like oh screw it, they're actually A. But in a theoretical sense, what happens is by him taking control of that angle and him or the Cypher taking control of that long B angle, him throwing the slow orb there, it lets the enemy team know there's at least one B. I don't know if they knew the Cypher was there. They might have. Who knows? There's at least one player B, and especially if their Cypher throws that camera where you can spot long, they know there's now two there, which pulls pressure that way. So it's either A, prevents the B players from rotating instantly, or just slows it down. And potentially, depending on how bad the players are, would pull one of these players out of a position on A, because they're like, wait a minute, he's going towards B, let me go help them out, or they are. Which I don't think is the case here because, like I said, these players were rushing. But in theory, that's kind of the idea, right? That's how pressure works in this. That's why, like, a lot of times in my solo queue cans, I'm always like, yo, freaking whoever, just go A and throw stuff. Because it's, I'm in diamond, so it's not quite as stinky. And just you doing that lets the enemy know, yo, there's some towards B, and or there's at least one person here. I can't just leave the site. Because if you constantly put 5 towards one side of the map and you pick up on it, then it's free. We actually played a, I'm trying to not get off track, but I'm going to say this just because I'm trying to bring the idea of pressure. We played a scrim once with my team. I coach a team. And we actually picked up on the fact that the enemies we were playing against, they always put 5 towards one side of the map. And literally, we 13-0'd them. Once we picked up on it after like 4 or 5 rounds, we just rotated everybody over there. And they would push into 5 of us. We couldn't lose. And so that's why pulling pressure is so important, because it slows these, slows these players down, sort of thing. Anyways, that was just a small thing to kind of add to the point of why you should pull pressure. And yeah, there's 3 enemies alive and they're not here. I guarantee if they didn't go slow that, they might have another player here quicker and or already on site. Sort of. But now nobody's here. Once again, it's an eco, not as big of a deal. But, like I said, bringing this up so you have the thought of how this stuff works. They're broke here. I guess we missed rounds. All good. I kind of wish I got the full gameplay. I don't know. This would have been a longer order. So because they know it's broke, that's why they're playing back and not instantly rushing. They're holding angles. Because when you're in an eco, think about it. If you're playing your solo queue games, you're in an eco, you just kind of run at him. Which is kind of exactly what we saw whenever he was opping in hookah at the very beginning of the review. They just ran at him and it was free kills. So that's why they're all playing back now. We're just expecting them to run at them. So yeah, he should not have the spike here, just in case they do manage to overwhelm him and they can potentially get the bomb. But that's what he does here. Wow, really good shot actually. Okay, sick. But yeah, that's what they're doing. That's why they're playing slow. They get the kill onto the Sova. Gets the trade. Like I said, very good shot. Cool, good kills. Now they probably just run site. Maybe not actually, because they'll be just go. Resed it. Don't think that was very cool. They know they're saving. Never bad to res, but like, well, it can be, but like, I think that res was bad overall, or just I don't want to say bad, not good, because
What's your long?
with the way the round played out, they had 2 dead, and if unless the enemy stacked the B site, that's very little if 0 players on the site, so they just overwhelm or them, whatever. So that's kind of what happens because nobody the enemy started to rotate once they got the got the 2 kills and he res, but they were already in sight by then, and that catches one, or when he did catch one, I guess a few seconds ago. The info backs up, does not take the fight. That's how you should play post plant. He does not need to take. Now, obviously, he's just in the solo queue. They know they're saving, all that good stuff. But in theory, Skadoodle takes the fight, gets the info, backs up. There's no need to fight that guy,
Pushing hookah.
which is what happens.
And
And yeah, then they get the kill on him. Which, and even if they didn't push in hookah, they now have info that he's there, and it's free kills. So, anyways, cool.
He's on the left.
Keep on going through.
Go for it.
careful. Two here. She's playing guard.
This looks like it's a little bit scary because this is what happens in a lot of mid/low elo games and even some high elo games. Is you get caught up in these positions for too long because you get scared that they have a lot of util, which that's fair to think, and that I'm not saying them not pushing out here is bad, but they're now rotating everybody,
Careful, Jet.
which is why we actually hear Skadoodle call, yo, like all here or something.
Careful. Two here. Get up.
2 here, 1's already dead, so there's only 2A. Once again, this is going back to the pressure thing. They're putting a lot of pressure towards B, pulls the enemies that way. I'm using my hands right now, you can't tell well. Pulls a lot of the pressure towards the B site, leaves A open for them to push very fast. But I think they sat around in there for too long. Well, actually not, because they had 2 players over here, so it was okay. But in theory, if you have more of your team towards the B site, pull a lot of pressure that way, and you're sitting in there, now you're trying to push the site with everybody here. It's obviously bad. So anyways, just wanted to touch on that. Now they go A because they have less players. Raze actually dies here. Looks like it's a bad play by her. Yeah, very bad play by her. Goes up by herself. She should wait for the. Now they have info. It's 3v3. So if they're gonna push A, they should that Raze should slow down, wait for the teammates. Unless the plan was I'm gonna make pressure at A, go back to B, sort of. I don't think that was the plan. Factor.
Probably elbow.
Wall is quirky. So I think the wall in theory is actually pretty good. Yeah, no, it is good. Sorta. The only reason I say sorta is because the idea is to catch people off guard, and the Sova just jumped out the window, so there's really no catching off guard anymore. I mean, I guess there is, because she ends up swinging and not ready for Skadoodle to be playing here, but like, he could have just been playing in Hugo without the wall up, and it also would have got off guard. I can kind of, hopefully I'm not incorrect in this, but I'm pretty sure Skadoodle's just not a Sage player. Just kind of tell by the way he uses abilities, and or does not use it.
Good peek spawn. Careful.
But like I said, overall it's not bad. It's just the way it. If they knew that the Sova was jumping out, they shouldn't do that. And that's sort of a thing would be either not happen in team play, or if it does, that's bad. We need to work on. That's when they should work on building team. Anyways. Swinging, deal. This swing can be bad. Because like I said, they're not only is their Sova really low, if he swings and dies here, now it's 2v2. They just need to get info. He should just shoulder that. Whatever. Which I think it was kind of his intention, which is why you see him. So he goes to peek it, gets the kill, whatever, and you see him shoulder it again, kind of shoulder it again. Like this is like it's a peek. It's not a shoulder peek, but he does kind of shift in and out of these. So he was going to do that, but he ended up, he was there, and gets the kill. So it's the peak is okay. But I just kind of, like I said, wanted to.
Yeah. Back showers. The gun. They walled earlier. It's
Letting
okay, wall,
the
dude.
Sova at the end. start. Notice how once she walls, he actually checks the only place she could be, which is up here on the wall.
Left side. Sage.
Oh.
You off. With that wall,
Break all
dude,
this
just saying.
bullshit. Left side. Sage.
You off.
Good that he held that angle. He was expecting her to potentially cross or peek. That's good.
I want to clear left side.
Big showers.
Rex died solo.
Yeah, watch
Bad.
Watch your ass.
Yeah,
Awesome.
he did.
Oh wait, sounds like you get caught off guard. Whatever, we'll the most part.
Okay, dude.
So anyways, now they're down 3v5. Let's see how they play it. What they should do is just post up on angles, play slow, let the enemy make it. Like that's exactly what he's
This guy's behind us though. He's probably wrapping like the other way.
doesn't freak out and doesn't freak out, shoot the thing or run away. He walks away, does not let them know he's actually there. Now they're expecting him here, which is why they flash it, but still. And then she peeks, gets the kill. Good by him. You guys can do it in your own games, like I said. Now they decide to just kind of push it. At this point, he needs to find a. This is bad by Sova. They're gonna go. They need to either communicate this better. So, well, it's hard to say. So they either need to go together. So either he should push with him or he should push. I think he should push it all because we know there's at least 2 on site. Because first of all, we're smoked and Sage was here. And so like just kind of pushing randomly with no info. So we slow down, wait for the stuff to fade, let your util come back up, go from there. So that's bad by him because I don't think it would be good for Skadoodle to just run in there with him because of the fact that he has an op, which is why the smoke. Kill on him, and then he dies from behind. Notice how he is wary that the fact that she might be behind, so that's good.
Who's up there?
Hey, look.
More of a default thing here, posting up. But I'm pretty sure he shot that for Cypher Traps. Or for the push, either or. Probably the push, it's actually more likely.
Is it Gazer or
Last
Geyser?
side if you
I
see
don't
him.
know.
Great use of Sova drone, you can clear out all of hookah with that.
Break the trips and I can hold side.
Very easy to do as well, it's not like
Yeah,
it's
red trips.
difficult.
Grab smokes.
Breaks the trips. Once again, they're pulling a lot of pressure. They either need to go fast here or back up.
Ready?
1, 2.
Ready?
Yeah, go.
What's wrong?
Ulting now, ulting now.
Dead.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah,
Once she gets spotted, she should slow down because you notice how ready he is. Which is why he probably holds that so tightly, expecting her to just fly because Sova drone.
Flashing for you.
When they're clear.
You can stay in there. Well,
Blasted by his team.
Tight.
are they guard?
Big bomb.
Side.
Tight.
Tight.
Big bomb.
And he's doing what an opera should do in a spot like this. Holding angles, waiting for the enemy to push. Now, it'd be one thing if they're down a player, which they now are down a player. But the idea stands. So this is important to note. This is, like I said, going back to the pressure. Because notice, there's Cypher here. There was Jet here.
Side.
Whoever that was.
Tight.
What was the Cypher that was?
Big bomb.
And Omen's here. There was 4 players here, kinda. No, there's only 3. I think. Yeah, and so he knows that the other 2 players aren't here, so he's gonna hold this angle and be ready for them to. Well, not a bad peek by Sage. Kind of a bad peek by Sage, but this is mainly good by him because, like, as an opera, you don't want to entry sight, right? It's one thing if they're down a player because then they just straight up don't know. Then they have to, or this guy might not get traded if the trade situation. But this is what you should do as an opera if your team gets sight. So good peek by him. Very just basic fundamentalness. Okay, let's see. He should not have peeked back out, which is why he died. He should just hid. He still might have gotten wall banged, but the other reason she shot him through there, like without a doubt, is because of the fact that
Spawn and guard. Last one's opping spawn. Peter walked out.
he did shoulder peek at the wrong. So yeah, you could see this is once again going back to pressure. You see how effective this is at all elos. Like people are just rotating over and over constantly. There's always rotation. Like he got 2 people off guard from just watching CPU as an op, which is really good. And you can see why I was saying they either need to go now or they need to back up because there be people rotating. Like I said, back to the idea of pressure. It's basic, but like not basic. It's like one of those easy to learn, hard to master sort of. Of course, I guess mastering's a little. No, it's really not. That's basically exactly what it is. Watching through. Yes.
Three one left.
I get there is.
Last and left.
Okay, what did we miss?
He's here.
Three one left.
I get there is.
Oh, they get opt here. Not expecting it. That's okay. Why he's not wide zone. He jumps the corner to get the guy to miss his shot. Gets the trade. Oh, wait. That's actually not the trade because the Omen. So they were doing something similar of what Skadoodle and I think it was the Breach AZK were doing earlier, where they double up. They double up in hookah. One has the op, so the other guy, which in their case is the Omen, because it was the Breach, can go for that trade kill, which was supposed to happen, but obviously he just killed the Omen. So. Anyways, at this point, I think the enemy team is starting to get the fact that they're just going B a lot, which is why this guy flanks so fast. Because they're just like, yo, they're going B a ton. Then now they're down a player, so he's kind of got to push. He's just got to go for some stuff, which is why he swings back into his op. Also wasn't expecting him, which is why you see him left side. I want to check his crosshair, please.
One under window.
So once again, this is going back to you should never be pre-aiming through walls unless you're 1,000,000% confident. Just to Halen, by the way, he showed me this. Unless you're 1,000,000% confident that they're gonna be on the angle you're pre-aiming, always keep your crosshair on the outside because he would be more ready for this player. Notice he now has to, when he comes around the corner, he has to flick from like right here all the way to here. But if he had kept his crosshair on the outside of the wall the whole time, he actually wouldn't. If he just clears like this, which he can't move perfectly. Then he would be able to get the shot a lot easier. The adjustment would be either smaller or he wouldn't have to adjust. But also he wasn't expecting him, and that's just kind of the reality. But I just wanted to touch on that. Something important you could do with your crosshair placement. That was bad by him. Running A because he
Might be a trip here.
all B. They get rezzed. Round. Probably doesn't wall actually. Uses the wall to put himself in a very off-guard spot. I like this actually. Good, because at this point he has 7 health. He can't just take like smart. He can't just take fundamental fights because he's just literally lose health and or get traded. So he has to do something that's going to catch him off guard. That's just what you have to do in these spots when you're low HP down on advantage. Plus, this would be good in just most rounds because it just straight up does. But it's necessary in these rounds. It's the only way to win them.
Yeah.
So he does this. So, well, it kind of works, but it's, yeah, I mean, it did work because she just dashes out because the reason the Jet dashed out is because he was probably expecting him to be holding the heaven angle short, which would theoretically be behind him, the typical post plant spot when it's playing, which is why she dashes out, and it's like, oh shoot, he's here. Then he gets to kill on her. The stage should, oh, she just missed the headshot, so good kill by on them. Another good job. And then, wow. Here's him to the left.
No.
Classic right click.
way,
Freaking
dude.
bro. Anyways, yeah, that's good though. You see like how powerful holding off angles is in the right zones because he got 2 kills off of it. Both of these players were not ready for him to be here, so he kills. That's like, wait a minute, oh shoot, he's here. Starts shooting midair, and then she wasn't ready for him, and if she was, she would have killed him quicker and or killed him. Yeah, so that's how powerful those angles are, and you see how to actually use them properly in spots like that. Now it's very risky, obviously, in theory, because of the fact that he doesn't know where they're coming from. If they come short, he's one.
I had no idea.
But like I said, back to the idea. Overall, good, especially with the round. Good play. Actually, there's vault.
I can blast left side.
Oh, it's a default. He's just trying to make sure they don't get too much control / info. Calls that long peek.
One flash.
This is, looks like they're back.
Can I go shower? Or
Yes, they are. I don't know if this is part of their plan or they just noticed like, yo, we're getting cucked here. We need to back out. They pull a lot of pressure towards B. Now they're going to go back to A. So depending on this, we'll obviously how what happens plays out. But there could be less players on on A and or they have not a lot of less utility. Watch.
Already showers.
They get really scared of the raise. It's a good way to use your raise ults, by the way. You don't even necessarily need to fly out and just pre-aim something. Doing this freaks the enemies out because they're like, okay, I'm going to instantly get if this raise sees me. They all run away, which is why the guy that was maybe playing U-Haul or anybody playing close sight in this cubby over here instantly ran away because they're scared of this guy. This is a great entry tool, other than the fact that it just one-shots people. Good for it. Saves his wall because they have bathroom control, and because of the fact that they do, he doesn't have to be as scared of this entire right side, so he saves it for now. Good. ADSing here is good because the Vandal is harder to spray at a range, and this slows the spray pattern down, makes it easier. Once again, that's more of a preferential thing. Most people won't do that, but that's why he did it, and you can do that in your own games. Backing up like this gets scary because of the fact that he knew this guy was you. And actually, this might be a smart peek by the enemy to swing into his ice because it would catch the Skadoodle off guard. If the sage that he knew was here peeked into it, then he gets caught off guard. Once again, something else you can think about in your own games. But still, he was confident that she wouldn't, so that was overall a good play by him. I like that. Yeah, and then they win the game. So yeah, I think that's it. Cover it. Anyways, all right. Well, that's gonna be the VOD review. Thank you guys so much for watching. We actually covered quite a bit. There's a good amount in there that we got to. I'm glad we talked about it. We talked a little more about just high-level gameplay in general than directly Skadoodle, but I obviously pointed out his good stuff, his mistakes, in general. So yeah, cool that we got to this. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what another pro you want me to do. I enjoy making these videos. They're really cool. If there's anything else you want me to talk about, like maybe the fact that, I don't know, maybe his positioning, his cross replacement. This is kind of hypothetical stuff because we did talk about that. But my point is, if there's things you want me to look for specifically in pro gameplay, let me know. If I decide to review them, I will look for those things in particular, especially for a few rounds sort of a thing. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.